I sensed something was off the instant her phone buzzed. It was 7:43 p.m. We were sitting in the living room, half watching a Netflix series we'd both stopped caring about weeks ago. Emily's hand darted toward her phone faster than I'd ever seen it move for me. She angled the screen slightly away, her face glowing in the blue light, lips pressing into that faint guilty line I'd learned to recognize over the years. I didn't speak right away. I just observed. Her thumb moved quickly, typing, deleting, typing again. Then a tiny smile appeared and vanished. "Who's that?" I asked casually, eyes still fixed on the TV.
"Work stuff," she said too fast.
"Nothing important. Just work."
Work.
On a Friday night, Emily worked in marketing. There was always a campaign, a deadline, a last-minute team meetup. I'd grown used to the excuses these past 6 months, but tonight felt different. Too deliberate, too planned. I waited a beat before speaking softly. "Is it him again?" Her head snapped toward me.
"What? Who?"
"You know who," I said evenly. "Daniel." There it was, the slight widening of her eyes, the faint flush in her cheeks. Not guilt exactly, but surprise. "He's just a coworker," she said, rolling her eyes, her tone sharp with defense. "You're being paranoid, James." Paranoid. The word people use when they want you to stop asking questions. "I told you before," I said quietly. "I don't like the way he looks at you. I don't like the late-night texts. And I definitely don't like how your face lights up when you say his name." "God, you sound insane," she muttered, taking a sip of her wine. "We're colleagues. Friends. That's all." But her fingers tightened around the glass stem. At 9:12 p.m., she stood up, straightening her blouse like we'd just come back from dinner. "I'm going to grab a drink with the team," she said, avoiding my eyes. "Don't wait up." There it was, the choice. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. "Don't meet him at that bar, Emily." She froze, hand on the doorknob. "What?" "You heard me," I said calmly. "Don't meet him there." Her expression flickered between pity and irritation. "You're being ridiculous. It's just drinks. You really need to work on this jealousy thing." Then she left. The door closed, and silence filled the house, except for the pounding in my chest. For weeks, I'd watched the signs stack up. Late nights, hidden messages, sudden fights over nothing. I'd confronted her gently, then firmly, then coldly. Always the same response. "You're overreacting. You're controlling. You're paranoid." But tonight I knew. I pulled out my phone and opened the tracker app I'd installed 2 weeks ago, a quiet, shameful act I never wanted to use. But trust isn't something you gamble with when it's already bleeding out. A small blue dot pulsed on the map, moving toward the lantern, the same bar I'd mentioned. The same one Daniel liked to post photos from. Dim lights, whiskey glasses, that pretentious, cool vibe. I waited 15 minutes, long enough for her to settle in, long enough for him to arrive. Then I grabbed my jacket and keys. The lantern buzzed with low music and murmured conversation when I got there. From outside, I saw the golden glow through fogged windows. And there she was, my wife of 7 years, at a corner table, hair tucked behind her ear the way she did when she was nervous yet thrilled. Across from her sat Daniel, tall, confident, leaning in with that fake ease men wear when they're about to cross a line they've already decided on. Her hand rested on the table. His was close. Too close. I didn't storm in. I didn't cause a scene. Not yet. I walked inside, ordered a drink, and sat at the bar just close enough to watch, just far enough to stay unseen. Minutes dragged. They talked. She laughed too loud. She looked at him the way she used to look at me, when love still felt new and uncertain, but full of hope. Every smile was a blade. At 10:04 p.m., he reached for her hand. She didn't move it away. That was my moment. I stood, drink untouched, and walked toward them. Her eyes widened. Shock. Then fear. "James, what are you doing here?" I smiled. "I was about to ask you the same thing." Daniel leaned back, smirk fading. "Hey man, relax. We're just..." "Shut up," I said, voice low. "This isn't about you." I looked at Emily. Really? My voice was calm, controlled. I warned you. I asked you not to do this. Not because I wanted to control you, but because I wanted to protect us. Her lips parted, searching for the right lie. It's not what you think. Don't, I interrupted. Don't insult me with that. The bar grew quiet, the kind of silence that falls when everyone senses truth breaking through. I made a move tonight, Emily, I said evenly. What are you talking about? She asked, frowning. I reached into my jacket and placed a folded envelope on the table. That's the retainer for a divorce attorney. I signed it an hour ago. A few whispers rippled through the room. Daniel shifted awkwardly, wanting to vanish. You chose this, I said, never breaking eye contact. Every late-night message, every secret drink, every time you made me feel crazy for noticing. You did this. Tears filled her eyes. James, please. No, I said, stepping back. You don't get to beg now. You crossed the line the moment you made me question my own reality. I turned and walked out. The cold night hit me like a slap, sharp, honest, cleansing. For the first time in months, I felt clarity. The next few days blurred into paperwork, frozen bank accounts, and quiet logistics. I moved into the guest room. She sent me long texts at night, apologies, explanations, half-truths. It wasn't physical, she wrote once. Just emotional. As if that hurt less. I didn't reply. A week later, she came home early, eyes red, voice trembling. I made a mistake, she whispered, standing in the doorway like a stranger. I was lonely. You were always busy. He made me feel seen. I looked at her, really looked, and realized I didn't know this version of her anymore. The one who measured love by attention, not trust. Emily, I said softly, I warned you because I loved you, and you ignored me because you didn't. She broke down then, sobbing, shaking, reaching for me. I didn't move. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. She moved into a small apartment near her office. She kept the house. And the silence. Sometimes I still drive past the lantern. I see the warm glow through the windows. The same place where everything ended. But I never go in. Not anymore. People ask if I regret it, if I regret not forgiving her, not fighting for what we had. Maybe some nights I do. But then I remember that moment, her hand on the table, his inching closer, and the sound of my heart quietly breaking. That's the thing about betrayal.